I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into a powerful and timely conversation with a terrific author. Her name is Paxton Quigley, and she has penned a powerful book. It is called Armed and Female Too. As millions of women across America make the choice to arm themselves for self-protection, Paxton provides critical insight, expert guidance, and practical training advice to empower readers with both confidence and caution. Armed and Female Too isn't just a book, it's a movement toward safety, awareness, and the responsible use of firearms for personal defense. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Paxton, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you for having me on. It's rather exciting to be on your network, and I hope we have lots of listeners who want to know how to protect themselves because, times are a-changing.
Times are changing. You're in the metro New York City area. It's gotten dangerous over the last few years in particular. I think ever since COVID in the big cities have been very, very dangerous, but even in the country, it can be a dangerous spot. It could take a police officer a long time to respond, so you need to arm yourself. When did you become a gun enthusiast?
Oh, a long time ago. And it wasn't, what can I say? It's not as if I liked guns, but something happened in my life to a friend of mine who got raped. And she called me up and said, you got to come over. I've been raped. And I was just on the street. I was pushed over. A guy raped me, left, and she was a mess, absolute mess. And of course, I took care of her. We went to the hospital. We had to make sure that, she was okay. But the next day I said to myself, this is never going to happen to me. And that's when I said, I'm going to buy a gun. And I started telling my friends about it. And they said, have you gone crazy or something? Guns are bad for you. And I tried to explain to them that no, guns are not necessarily bad. It's if you have one and you know how to use it and you're prepared if someone is coming after you. Now, of course, other ways of preparing yourself also, and that I talk about in my book of having, a spray. But when it gets right down to it, if a woman really wants to feel safe, and there are many who they're working at night, they work the night shift where they get off at 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, there's nobody on the street in most cases. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And I always say, protect yourself. And one of the best ways, if you really learn how to shoot a gun, and that means taking a class, and not just one class, but many classes to learn how to shoot a person if necessary.
Yeah. I think you underscored an important point there that buying the gun is only the first step. You need to train with the gun where you're going to be expert with the gun if you're called upon to use it. If there is a mass casualty event in a shopping mall that you happen to be at, if someone is stalking you and is threatening you, if someone breaks into your house, you don't want to be fumbling or not sure what to do. You want to be able to use it with certainty, right?
Correct. But the other important thing is just because you learn how to shoot, you have to keep it up. You have to go to a range at least once a month because you start if you're not using the gun, you lose a lot. And so it's very important to remember that this is your lifesaver. And so you want to make sure that your life is saved, right?
Exactly, exactly. Great advice. Anything you don't do frequently, you're not going to be good at it. So if you're going to use a gun well, you have to get to the range and learn how to use it. In places like New York City, it's tough to get a concealed carry permit. Any advice on that? Should you work with an attorney to file for an application? Talk to us about trying to carry a gun legally.
It's not easy. There's no doubt about it. Basically, if you live in New York, you have to go down and to the police department. And a lot of times it depends why you need a gun. For example, if you're a woman and you work the night shift, they're
Mhm.
more apt to give you a permit to carry.
Mhm.
If you just want to have one, in your purse or around your belt or something like that, that becomes a different story because really you can't walk around. You're not in the Wild West,
Mhm.
with a gun on your, around your waist. So
Right.
there, and it also depends where you live. Obviously, if you're living in Texas, uh,
Hmm.
it's much easier to get a gun and a permit to carry a gun. But in a place like New York City, they have very rigid rules that they don't want that out there.
Yeah.
So before you even think about learning how to shoot, find out what the rules are and what you have to do before you go ahead and learn how to shoot. And then it's time to go to a range, uh, work with somebody there, not necessarily with a group. It's better to take on uh, a person who will teach you correctly how to do it. And there are many things you need to learn about in terms of loading and unloading a gun and where you should keep it. And if you have children in the house, that's really, really important
Mhm.
because they could get a hold of the gun, even if it's unloaded, you don't want them touching the gun.
Right.
I've heard of stories of kids getting a hold of a gun and going out there on the streets. This happens a lot in small towns, and for some reason, if there's a bullet in, they shoot the gun.
Yeah.
So you have to really understand that it's very important that yes, you're going to protect yourself, but you're also got to protect other people out there too.
Exactly. This is lethal force. You need to be aware, like you said, very cognizant of the dangers of it, that it gets into your children's hands, that somebody is able to take it away from you. It can be a lifesaver, no doubt, but you don't want it used against you. So it's important to train properly, like you said, with an instructor. What's your best advice to somebody who's thinking about purchasing a gun, male or female?
Go to a range.
Yeah.
Sign up if there's a class, or obviously there's going to be people there who can train you. And then even after you've been trained, you have to sit back and say to yourself, is this something that I really want to take control of? Because when you have a gun, it's a great, great responsibility.
Yeah.
It's lethal force. But yet today, believe it or not, there are more and more women who are owning guns. As a matter of fact, and you'll be very surprised, but there are 42 million women in the United States
Mm.
that have a gun. That's
Right.
20% of women, and it's growing. And it's growing faster than ever. Now, a lot of the reasons are because they're working late at night. They have to go places that are unsafe, or they live alone. Many times women don't live also in the best places, et
Mm.
cetera, et cetera. So you really have to think about, why do I want a gun?
Yeah.
And am I going to take responsibility? And once you can say yes to yourself and you go to the range and you learn how to shoot and you get this big target and you're starting to shoot not just to this, almost off the paper target, but you're starting to get right on the bullseye. And you become like, oh, I know how to shoot a gun. I remember that's what I did. I was walking around like I'm a big shot. Because before I'd been so afraid of it. And, now I'm not afraid of a gun at all. I can pick up a gun, but I know exactly what to do first. Open up the chamber, if you've got a revolver. And I always recommend that women don't start out with a semi-automatic. Go with a revolver
Yeah.
and try different revolvers before you decide on the one that's best for you and only you. And
Yeah.
then, of course, there are gun purses that you can carry. There's lots of different ways to carry. But the one thing is you don't become that you're a hot shot, and you don't tell many people that you own a
Yeah,
gun.
exactly.
It's a private thing.
Right. Keep it to yourself. People will break in to steal your gun if it gets out there. And I do think it's wise that people don't know you have a gun and don't know if you're carrying. I think that's just almost good, polite manners, good etiquette. You have it to protect yourself, and that's a good thing. We talked about concealed carry. That is limited, particularly in states like Illinois and New York. But everybody has a right to have a gun in their home if they want to. It's the
Yes.
carrying part. And I think a lot of people get confused about open carry, concealed carry, but you can have a gun in your house. As far as arming yourself, my dad always said like a 38 snub nose revolver was the best to have. He was a court officer because it wouldn't jam. You didn't have to keep it as clean as an automatic. Um, so what is your advice for somebody who's thinking about buying a gun and keeping it in the home?
Okay. There are also a lot of books out there, like mine.
Yeah,
I've the new book, Armed and Female, Roman numeral II, Never an Easy Target.
yeah.
And it goes into very carefully, step by step, about finding out whether you should own a gun. And I'm putting the book up right now
Yep.
so that people can see it. And also, it's not only about owning a gun, but there are also other chapters about taking care of yourself. Unarmed self-defense. I'm reading this. Security while traveling.
Mm.
A special chapter just for women only. Going to the shooting range. When you're doing concealed carry, what's the best way? So it's not just a book about guns.
Mhm.
It's a whole book about taking care of yourself
Yeah.
and being safe, and your family being safe also.
Absolutely. It's a mindset you have to adopt that we do live in a dangerous world and you don't want to be paranoid, but you also don't want to be reckless. You want to realize there are real dangers out there. And of course, avoiding conflict is always the best thing to do. Maybe don't ride the subway at night. Maybe don't walk down an unpopulated block at night. There are smart things we can do to keep ourselves safe. And if you do see someone coming, maybe it's a good idea to cross the street or get into the middle of the street and get away. So that's the kind of mindset I think you're talking about, right?
Yeah, there are times, I live in New York, and let's say I've gone out for the evening and it's like 10:30 at night. I do two things if possible. If there's somebody, a couple walking along, I'll try and walk behind them.
Right.
Or if there's nobody around, I walk in the street.
Yeah. Same,
That if
same.
someone even comes near me, I can start running down the street and learn how to yell. And
Exactly.
if somebody grabs you from behind and takes you down, you start yelling and you yell, no, 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 because you want to get the air out so
Mm.
that you can fight back. Because sometimes it's very easy to just choke up and you can't do anything. So you have to learn to go ahead and get that air out so you can yell and you can go ahead and use your legs, because your legs are the most important part of your body in terms of striking at somebody.
Exactly. Exactly. Especially for women, their legs are very, very strong. It can be a good weapon. I'm a 6'6" man. I'm often in New York City. If I see a couple of guys walking down the sidewalk and I've never seen them before, I get out of their way and I cross the street or walk in the street like you do. I always assume somebody is potentially a predator, you know,
Yes, yes,
particularly at night, particularly on a lonely street. You have to be careful. It is a dangerous world. And crime has gotten out of control in cities like Chicago, San Diego, LA, and of course, New York City and beyond. So
yes.
this book is great. I think it's invaluable, Paxton. I really think you're
Thank
doing
you.
women and others a great service with this. Um, the name of the book is armed and female too. As millions of women across America make the choice to arm themselves for self-protection, Paxton provides all the critical insight you need, expert guidance, and practical training advice to empower readers with both caution and confidence. It's an important book. It's one of your, I think it's your first step before buying the gun. Buy this book,
Definitely.
get
And
the gun.
it's available online at Amazon right now. So if you go
Exactly.
to Amazon, it's there.
Wonderful. And below the description of this interview, there is a link. You can order the book there directly from Amazon as well. Paxton, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
And thank you too. Be safe.
Will do. You be safe as well. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time, this time until next time on Spotlight.